Well, okay, so look, I have a hot take again.
Ooh, these hot takes you always have must keep you warm at night.
Sweating profusely, yeah. Listen, this episode is more exciting, more interesting, and better written than the previous episode.
Easily.
This is also the episode where the show kind of comes undone for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Like it goes too far? Far?
I don't know. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
Yeah, the B team.
The B team. That's Carl.
Yes, and Brady.
Well, yeah, and I'm Brady. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know what I sound like right now. Well, okay. I still sound like I have COVID. I don't have COVID. I just have like residual, like it'll take a little bit for me to sound like normal. But also I'm not recording in my office today. I am out and about in the world, at the farm, the Mel Gibson farm.
Ooh, I always wanted to go there.
As it's been come to be known by. Well, we're going to be back here in like a week and a half if you want to come rip around on an ATV and cause some havoc.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So I don't know what I sound like. If I sound horrible, but bear with us. The fact that I am podcasting on vacation should mean more. Podcasting on vacation after having just gotten over COVID. You're freaking welcome. If my dedication doesn't scream sign up for Patreon right now, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. Yeah. So listen, this episode, man. Do you want to just know why? Do you want to know why for me?
If you're going to let the cat out of the bag right away and then people could just go about their business, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Then they don't have to listen to us the whole time.
Sure. So we finally reached the heist. This is the meat and potatoes of this episode is the heist. And it's fun and it's exciting and it's stunningly it's
beautiful.
Yeah, it's
visual
just
effects,
amazing to look at. And there's sort of this not universal hate, but there is this well established hate out there for prequels. Not necessarily just the Star Wars prequels, but prequels in general. There's a lot of people out there who don't like prequels because they're like, well, I already know what's going to happen. And there's no there's no stakes because I already know what's going to happen. And I've never fallen into that group. I have no issue with prequels. Prequels can be a lot of fun. This is the first time, maybe ever, that because what I'm seeing as a prequel is a prelude to other things that I know that come, I felt zero stakes.
Really?
Zero stakes. Because I was like, look, the worst thing that could go... there's two things that could go wrong here. Either A, we don't get the money, in which case... so what? I know that Andor's not going to die. I know that the rebellion will still be formed. I know that the Death Star will still be blown up, and eventually the Emperor will be killed twice. Even if this goes totally wrong and horrible and doesn't work out, it doesn't matter. I already know that it's everything's fine.
Yeah, no matter what happens, it's not going to technically affect the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
Movies, TV.
At all.
In terms of the timeline going forward.
The only other thing that could go wrong is we could lose someone. Someone from our little ragtag group of rebels here could die.
Yes, someone.
And
Not all, just one.
Yeah, and going into that, it was like someone could die, and I'm like, like,
Right.
I'm like,
Okay,
of
is there
these
a butt
people
here? I'm sensing a butt, but I feel like there isn't a butt.
there isn't. No, because I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not really invested in any of these
Right.
characters, like at all.
Okay.
The one that we have the most character development for is Nemec, and I kind of personally wouldn't mind if he got picked off because he's a little friggin' irritating. And yeah,
Green behind the ear.
he's just like, oh, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like, excuse me, sir or madam, could you read my book? Like, he's just, I don't know. So this
little
is
nerdy.
I felt zero stakes. It was fun. It was beautiful. It was whatever. But the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, the outcome of this means nothing.
That's interesting.
Nothing.
That's a very interesting hot take, because from where I'm sitting after watching the show, I believe you're completely wrong.
Yeah, well, you record from your washroom sitting on the toilet, so that's
Hey, it's a nice,
the
good audio
acoustics.
quality
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
It's a perfect acoustics.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. I'm glad you disagree, because that makes an
yeah.
interesting discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to first hit on, like, you mentioned, like, most people hate on sequels.
I won't even say
Because,
most. I won't even say most. I know that there is
Right.
there's a
Okay.
group out there, a movement of prequel
And
haters.
I will say most of those, like, if people hate on a sequel, it's more than likely because of bad writing or acting than because it's a sequel
prequel. You mean.
or prequel.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The same applies to sequels. If people hate on a sequel,
Yeah.
it's because it's. I would say it's more because the writing is bad,
Right.
and it doesn't hold true to what the universe that's been created so far.
Maybe the biggest
Than
criticism
it has to do with anything. Like,
Yeah,
you're a fan of something, you love it deeply, then you're going to be a little bit harsher on it.
Yeah.
Because you expect, like, when a bar of greatness is set, you expect greatness,
Yeah.
right? If the like, we're in Star Wars, so, you know, the original trilogy is looked at as being a marvel of cinematics for its time. It's set a bar of greatness. We go back to then we 10, 15, 20 years later, whatever it was, we get
The prequels.
the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Same guy writing it, but harsh judgments cast down on it.
Right.
And I've watched a lot of video essays on, like, things that worked for the prequel trilogies and things that didn't, and it's interesting stuff. Like George Lucas, how a lot of the camera shots are very simple, like two cameras, like one's on the main person, one's on the other person. If it's a two-person it's like, instead of having, like, kind of more complex shots that we kind of saw a bit more of in the original trilogy. So, like, so there are things that in the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy that are a definite kind of weird downgrade in cinematography, and part of that you could attribute to that George Lucas is a better writer and world builder than he is a director. Because he didn't really direct the original trilogy.
Well, he directed A New Hope. He directed Star Wars, but then after he didn't direct Empire or
Not
Jedi.
on his own though. Like, there were there was another director credited for it too.
Was there? Yeah.
I think, I don't know. Well,
But
somebody fact check.
okay, so
but my point being, if you there are fandoms where we get prequels, and if the writing's good, then people love it.
yeah.
The same thing with sequels.
Oh, and I'm not saying.
So I would say for this episode, I think this, I'm same boat as you, right? Like, I know what's going to happen. There really aren't any stakes here because I know what's going to happen. But for me, this episode, like, I'm edge of my seat. I'm, like, caring about what's happening and the people and Yeah. Like, even though the last episode, they tried to do all this character development, which just felt forced and made me care maybe a little bit less, I still bought into it. Like,
yeah,
I feel like I could have skipped last episode, and this episode just would have fit perfectly into the episode 5
yeah,
slot.
last episode, especially because we don't go back and visit Karn at all in this.
Yeah.
So there's really no follow up.
Yeah.
With
that was another thing I think what worked to this episode's advantage. And it's really kind of funny because this is episode 6 of Andor. And I just listened to episode 6 and 7. Yeah, you guys did 7 for Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, yeah.
Yeah. And in episode 6 was a fairly linear story in Rings of Power, sticking just within the Eastlands.
Yep.
And
the Southlands.
And the episode itself, and Pete alluded to this, that what worked for it was that it wasn't jumping all over the place.
Yeah, but he hates the Harfoots, and he hates, like, for him, that was less about being a linear storytelling, and that was really more about, like, these are the only people I care about, so the fact that this is the only thing I got made me happy.
He alluded to it in that these are, like, the key storylines in the show. And that's what...
Yeah.
And that's what kind of what I'm saying here, like, this is the important storyline. What's happening with Mon Mothma, and what's happening with what's his name?
Luthen.
Not Luthen.
Oh, Karn.
Yeah, Cyril. What's happening with Cyril?
Yeah,
it's not important to really the main plot anymore. It might be down the line, like we've talked about in the past episodes, but
yeah, I don't know,
because we're not jumping all over the place. We get a nice fluid story. It flows nicely. It's not jerky and jumpy and we're over here. Okay, now okay, change. Oh, yeah, we're in this emotional thing. Now let's jump quickly to this other thing that's a completely different emotion, and so you get to feel the flow of emotion.
Yeah, I think,
and that's a big part of why this episode, last week you said this show was better than anything we've had from Star Wars in terms of TV.
Yeah, I disagree now.
I agree more. This episode, I don't believe the show is better than Mandalorian.
No.
But I believe this episode is a better episode than any episode Mandalorian has ever given us.
That's interesting. So I think the big difference here for me now between Andor and Mandalorian, like, Mandalorian, although it's set in a time where we have seen things that come after, we haven't seen things that come after that have anything to do with these characters in The Mandalorian, right? Whereas this is like, Andor is a direct prequel to another property starring Cassian Andor. And so I walked away from this episode going, oh, this show doesn't matter at all. Like, this show just doesn't matter. Whereas with Mandalorian and things like Grogu and all that, there's interesting implications. Like, what does this mean? And where is this going to go? And what does this Force sensitive child mean for Jedi as a whole? And how could this change and influence maybe even episodic films moving forward and all of this stuff? Whereas Andor, it's like they would have to do something so bizarre that it felt forced, tacky, and out of place in order for this show to now do anything that had serious implications moving forward. Again, unless, like I said, they do something stupid like bring Jar Jar into it. Right? Like, that's the only way at this point that you are doing anything that is going to, like, we're going to look back on Andor and be like, yeah, that was a great series. I enjoyed that. but you're not going to really remember things about it.
But okay,
because there won't be anything in it worth remembering. There won't be anything in it that you need to remember moving forward. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you, but I still think that that doesn't detract from how good the storytelling was in this episode.
Oh, neither do I. Like I said, the writing is still incredible. I still think it's some of the best writing on television right now that I'm aware of. Visually, it's stunning. The action was on point. It was intense. It was like perfectly paced. This was
it was more
flawless episode.
Yeah.
It's just in now giving us the episode that we've been waiting for in the heist. I'm not punching holes in the episode. What I'm saying is I think this episode punched a hole in the premise of the show.
Kind of like what we were saying in the very first episode about like who's asking for this.
Who's asking for this? Because they haven't even really because my thoughts in the first episode were you've taken essentially the least interesting character from Rogue One and given him a show. And I would say that for me, if he was a 1 out of 10 on the scale of interesting when the show started, he's maybe a 2.5 interesting now. Like the show is interesting.
Man, no.
But I'm not that much more interested in Cassian Andor himself.
I am so much more invested.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can get his number for you.
Let's All right. Well, let's dive in a little bit.
All right. We start with Nemec's shitty pep talk.
Yeah. The rebels waking up the morning before. Nemec's pretty nervous. And Clem tells him, kind of tells him it's normal and gives him a little pep talk, like you're saying. Interesting conversation. Gets the kind of juices for the episode kind of going. Kind of sets a tone a bit, I think.
If you say so.
And I do.
All right, good.
Yeah, because it's spoiler. At the end of the episode, Clem is gifted Nemec's biopic on why the rebellion's important. Mm-hmm. And I think it just kind of... The last episode tried this a few times and failed because it was doing other things at the same time. But I felt like there was more of a... Like, Andor is kind of like... building a connection there in this one scene more than any of the scenes in the past episode.
Right.
Because he wants him to survive and he wants him to do well. And there's high tension in the group right now because they're about to do something crazy. Anyway, yeah. So from there, we go and we meet the commander of the base and the officer who they're waiting on, this engineer, and the commanders. There's a weird kind of slice of Imperial life we see here, where the commander's like just wanting to get off this rock, and he's got his family there, and he's got family problems too, just like apparently Mon Mothma does. But from the other side of the coin, so to speak. But after that short clip and the introduction, which was nice and short, the heist kind of finally starts to take place.
Yeah, which is, I went into this episode not knowing that I needed to see an Imperial officer take a leak. And I came out of it knowing for sure that I did not need to see an Imperial officer take a leak.
Yeah, that shot was a little unnecessary. It like
Well, and it wasn't even like
there's a few things this show has given us in Star Wars that no other show has done.
Underwear,
people going to the bathroom,
colored
allusions to sex scenes, underwear.
Yeah, like one night stands, like hookups.
Which
I've
it
got
all
no
makes
issue
sense
with
because they're people and it's
I've got no issue with. It's just like it doesn't feel Star Warsy.
It's not necessary.
I have a question, because I thought for sure there's something that for me has been glaringly missing from this show, and I thought for sure, okay, well this is the episode. This is the episode where this will happen, and all will be right with the world, and it will officially feel just like Star Wars. We haven't gotten a single stormtrooper in this show. I figured for sure on this base. There's not one stormtrooper kicking around?
Well, that's not true. That's not true, technically. Technically speaking.
The TIE fighter pilots? No.
I'm not talking about the TIE fighter pilots. What was his name? Taraman. He's a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Ex-stormtrooper.
But we don't have...
No. I think one of the reasons we don't see them is because stormtroopers are the elite of the Empire's fighting forces, and this is a backwater planet that's not heavily guarded, even though it's got a big payroll.
The elite. Okay. I think that's one thing that would go a long way to making it feel a little more like Star Wars. Like if this planet has TIE fighters, and you're going to give me TIE fighters in the like stormtrooper-esque TIE fighter helmet get up. I'm not going to disagree with you. I think that would have made it feel a little bit more Star Wars than it did. Yeah.
Like their armor that the foot soldiers wore was very stormtrooper-esque. Like the armor plating looked very similar.
Yeah,
why not
shapes.
just give us just put them in white?
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Point. That would have made it feel a little bit more Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
iconic blasters and their. Yeah.
I don't think not having them there didn't. I don't think it hurt the film this episode.
No, but I mean, and you know what? I think I
definitely would have took it to another level.
I think the whole this is a backwater thing and they're the elite, and I think that's a garbage argument, because if that is why, listen. If that's why, then 90% of the instances of stormtroopers in Mandalorian don't make any damn sense. There are lots of times if that's the unit of measurement.
Age in the galaxy, though. Those are like
not by much.
Remnant warlord groups trying to hold power on small sections of planetary systems.
I don't know. This is a base that has 80 million Imperial credits.
Yeah,
seems worth guarding secretly, with at least one guy in white.
With some secrecy. Anyway. Okay. So the peeing, you could have had those guards walk by, create the tension, and not have a guy peeing.
Yeah.
I mean, like when Obi-Wan is turning off the tractor beam, those two stormtroopers are like, "Oh, hang on, man, I'm gonna pee off the edge here."
Yeah. Yeah, they transferred me down to
there's no need for it. It doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't really add more tension.
Oh my gosh, guess what? Speaking of stormtroopers, guess what I bought on Steam and I've been playing?
A stormtrooper?
What?
I don't know what.
Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a fun game.
It's fun and it's bizarre because all of the AI banter, like in the first level, all the AI banter between the stormtroopers. I haven't played it in like 20 years and I can recite it all verbatim. Like it's so bizarre. And what else is bizarre is understanding this is a tangent, but it's a important one for no reason at all, is understanding like how much of the graphical limitations of these games weren't software limitations, they were hardware limitations. Because on my gaming PC in 2022, now, I mean, this thing doesn't look like Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or anything like that, but I go in there and I chalk all the textures and all the shadows and everything up to like the highest settings that everything will go to. This is not what the game looked like 20 years ago. Holy.
Makes a difference.
Oh my goodness. Right? And it's the same as film, right? We're like, oh yeah, this movie that came out in 1962. Oh yeah, they just released the 4K Blu-ray of it. And then you go watch it, you watch Sound of Music in 4K. You've been watching it on VHS your whole life. You're like, whoa. I had no idea. I had no idea that the film ever looked this good. That this existed in all of Salzburg, Austria. Holy shit! Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So back to peeing. Imperial peeing.
Yeah. So I want to point out here that, and this is one of the reasons that this with the next scene we get. This is one of the reasons why I think this is a huge win for me. Is the storytelling in this, the tension, there's you feel a little bit of tension at the beginning from scenes like the conversation, the peeing Imperial trooper, but it doesn't feel high stakes yet. It doesn't feel heavy. It's oh, this could end now, but no, okay, it's going to happen. All right. But then we get this Dahani ritual celebration happen. They exchange goat furs with the Empire, which apparently is the Empire's payment for 3 years, a 3-year lease on the land. How they got that deal, I don't know. Probably because they're big, pushy, meanie bullies.
I had to look away for a second during this scene, and when I looked back, and then I rewound and figured out what the hell was going on. But they're like handing this like rolled up long brown furry thing over, and without any context I glance back at the TV and I'm like, is that a Wookiee arm? Why are they trading Wookiee arms? Like, here, you take this Wookiee arm, thank you, I have one for you, you take this Wookiee arm, and I'm like, what in the actual shit is happening here right now? So it's
some kind of ritual, because the Hani are kind of a fairly religious people, I guess, and the eye is really important. It lets them come use this ceremonial space every 3 years, which the Empire, apparently, we get a little bit of history in some conversation from the commander of the base, that talking to the Imperial engineer coming to check the place out, that they set up essentially bars along the way, their walking route that they could stay at. Yeah. And by doing so, they downsized the group almost like to a quarter of what it started as, because they're too drunk and don't care enough to keep walking.
Does this not seem like a you and me thing? If you and I...
it's like...
You're like...
in terms of oppression and like forcing your will on another group of people, it's pretty twisted.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then the Dahani start their celebration, and for me, this is when the tension starts to rise, because the tension builds throughout the episode, it's not just the heist progressing that adds tension. It's the celebration starts small and quiet, and it grows and builds as the heist goes along. And then also the eye itself, I felt brought tension, because the heist kicks off with one single shooting star, and then we get a couple more and a couple more, and then everything. So all these different aspects of the episode just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow together until we reach the climax of the escape. And I was just, as that build was happening, I just felt myself more and more invested and more on the edge of my seat.
I'm so glad you had a good time with this episode. Like I really genuinely
enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm hearing you describe your like physical interaction with this episode, this like visceral edge of your seat kind of tense, exciting, anxious feeling. And I'm just like, I watched the right show this week, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like in terms of the heist, for me, the heist was tense because everything kept going well until the comms the comms guy found out, oh, there's a heist going on. And then only then things start going sideways, and they're pretty much done anyway. And then pretty much everybody dies in the process of getting out.
I think I just like screwed myself over with the mindset, because I literally like all this stuff is happening, and logically I can reconcile the fact that these are intense things, that this is a sticky situation, and you know, literally like everyone who's a part of this crew could have stopped, turned, looked at the camera and said, I have a bad feeling about this, and they would have been spot on. But I could not get over. I'm like, okay, so let's say in this next scene, everybody dies except for Andor.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Who cares? So what? Yeah. Like, well, bully for them. Like, yes, it sucks.
You know what?
Sorry about your loss, but it doesn't matter.
You just said something that just sparked like a why this episode, even this show.
Yeah.
Aside from a few things like the blue milk and the weird cereal from last episode, let's just
forget the blue ramen
episode altogether. Aside from a few things, this Andor is doing things far better, I believe, than like Lord of the Rings, which is another kind of prequel series, even though they're not like supposed to be the same universes.
Yeah.
The movies, they're still claiming they're Lord of the Rings, so there still should be some continuity there. But even though they're claiming they're not based on Lord of the Ring, like the Peter Jackson trilogy, they keep giving us callbacks and reusing dialogue and lines all the time.
Yeah,
from that movie, and it's kind of exhausting. It's like where this episode especially, they could have so easily, like you said, threw in I got a bad feeling about this line.
Yeah.
To give us there it is. Oh yeah. Or never give me the odds, or you know what I mean? Like they could have so easily, from all the Star Wars content that we have in terms of movie and TV shows, and they could have easily thrown out that easy bone to get a feel good feel, but they didn't. They went with their own writing and creation, and it worked, and they stuck to it, and it worked really well.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I can't jump on board with this and be like, yeah, I agree 100%. Mostly just because I have unapologetically drank the Kool-Aid on the Rings of Power show, even with like I can acknowledge all of the issues with it and pacing problems and XYZ, but I am like, I don't even care. Like I'm just about 36 hours after the finale came out, Pete messaged me and he said, have you watched the episode yet? And my genuine and honest reply was yes, 3 times.
Really?
Yeah. I watched it. I watched it when it came out at midnight. It's like an hour and 15 minutes long, right? Came out. I started at like 12:30, watched it, got up, went to the washroom, got some water, and then watched it again. And wept just as much the second time.
So spoiler for the season 1 of Rings of Power.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard that episode yet, Brady likes it.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Which, oh man, from what you're saying, I get the feeling Pete didn't. Which
I don't know. We haven't reviewed it yet. We have not reviewed it yet. The finale, but
yeah, I didn't. I thought it felt rushed and messy.
Yeah. Well, I was about to make a sex joke at your expense, but that's fine. So continuing on.
Yeah. So moving on. Yeah. So the heist goes pretty smoothly. They got a really good plan. They get things loaded up. And this is kind of like the P joke thing, right? That we were talking about earlier, where like it wasn't necessary, but okay, whatever. This is a similar kind of qualm. Like it doesn't hurt the film really, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like left there wondering why. Does the Empire not believe in loaders or forklifts or anything like that?
I don't know. I think it falls
like,
into the
carts,
same. Yeah, no, I think. I think
where's that's a lot of money. You figure they'd have some kind of forklift or machinery to take the whole rack and move it onto a ship so that they can send it out to pay for payroll on the neighboring planet.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the lack of loaders is not because they blew the budget on safety railings. Because that's something else the Empire does not seem to believe in. They're like,
except this place does have them.
It's a 10,000 foot pit. We don't need a rail.
They didn't put them on the Death Star, but they certainly put them in this below ground bunker.
Let's have these massive pits. Put no railings on any of them, and then wait. Here's the kicker. We'll populate the ship with guys in helmets with greatly reduced visibility.
Yeah. And some of the bridges will retract.
Yeah, for no reason. Why? Well, I just finished reading Harry Potter, and there's some staircase actions in there I want to see if we can recreate.
Somebody was doing their reading on medieval castles and was like, we need like something like a drawbridge to protect this section.
But my lord, we don't have a moat. Shut up. Do it.
Then build one. Build a really deep one.
Do it now. All right, what else?
Yeah, okay. So, and then, like I said, crap goes sideways because
we have an injury.
Comms officer figures stuff out, and they try and tell them everything's okay, and this is just a secret covert mission. And there's our commander who's been working his arse off to load up this gold, having a heart attack.
Yeah, what the? Okay, so first of all,
I thought that was brilliant.
The whole thing, it starts out and his wife is like, well, you've gotten fat. And so they're already acknowledging that he's hitting the Dairy Queen a little too hard. And now literally like his cholesterol is so high that like all of a sudden he's just like, oh, my arm feels a little.
I mean, it's not that unbelievable. Right? It's a heavier set actor. No, hear me out.
Sure,
it's a heavier set actor.
Yeah, in a high
we've already had Andor a few episodes back, and this was kind of like tongue in cheek in how he did it. But to Luthen, he talks about how the Empire has gotten fat on their own greed and laziness.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's what we're seeing. Like, so it was kind of alluded to a little bit.
It was a callback to that line. Yeah,
a little bit. I think, right?
I know.
So it wasn't. It didn't feel out of place because the actual loading of the ship in the episode actually takes a little bit of time. As they're loading, other things are happening.
I know.
They're loading up the ship, and the comms officer's just starting to figure out what's going on.
The fact that the whole heist is saved due to coronary, like it just.
But it wasn't saved due to coronary. It was. Wow. It was the wrench. It was a wrench.
Yeah.
In the works.
Yeah.
Right. And that wasn't like things would have went sideways whether the guy had the heart attack or not. I think it just added. It was. I don't know. For me, it worked.
Oh, it worked absolutely. I just thought it was like I agree, it was hilarious. I was just like like as I'm watching it, I'm like, is this actually happening right now? Like it was just so out of left field, which is what it's supposed to be. I mean,
yeah,
but no, it was just like it was another one of those things that was like, oh, okay, there are quadruple bypasses in Star Wars. There's Fruit of the Loom. Corn pops and heart attacks, all a part of Star Wars now.
Yeah. So anyway, so all hell breaks loose. Big shootout. One of our rogues gets shot right away. I can't remember which one. I think it was the commander, or not the commander, the rebel guy, or the what's his name? Lieutenant Gorm. I believe it was Gorm got shot right away. And then there's a big shootout. And Skeen, like, somebody asked Skeen to give him cover fire. And he pulls out and he shoots one guy and he pulls back in, which, if you understand what cover fire means, that's not necessarily cover fire. And the guy who runs out gets shot right away. And I don't know if you picked up on that, but I picked up on that right away. I was like, oh yeah, what are you doing, Skeen? That's not cover. Did he pull back in because he's afraid? He must, like, my initial impression was, oh, he's scared. Like and kind of almost every man for himself now. But spoiler, he's out. He's more than every man for himself. He's literally out for himself, we find out later. He's a real screwball. They get the ship loaded up. They get everybody that's left alive on it. They take off. And our good buddy Nemec doesn't die the way we thought he was. At least not the way I thought he would. I thought he was going to get shot. But he gets crushed by a bunch of money.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go, yeah, then
and then in there somewhere we get to see some TIE fighters getting pilots actually jumping into them. Again, this is something we don't necessarily need to see, but this is the first time we've ever actually seen
badass
TIE fighters pilots getting into their ship and taking off.
The closest,
it was really cool.
The closest we've seen is Finn and Poe commandeering the TIE fighter in Force Awakens. Yeah.
Finn and Poe commandeering. We've seen in The Mandalorian, his name is escaping me right now, the main antagonist from that show getting out of his TIE fighter at the end of the first season because the way it lands. But that one's a unique TIE fighter. These ones are kind of standard issue.
Yep.
And older too. The one in that the Mandalorian takes place long after the collapse of the Empire.
Let's get to the part here where our injury happens, because I really want to talk. I have
which injury?
Well, I have a bone to pick about the doctor at the end of this episode.
Okay, yeah. So they make their escape. Skeen gets injected with some drugs and is alive long enough to operate this ancient piece of technology, this Nokia cell phone of navigation devices, to get them free and clear of the planet through the eye. Which, can we take a moment? They've been hyping this thing up, and the payoff was worth it. Do you feel like the payoff it paid off for you?
Yeah, I would say the redeeming grace of this episode is this sequence. And
yeah. The eye is gorgeous. And then the chase through the eye was really cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm like, it's happening. And I'm like, is this the same? Like, I've enjoyed Andor up until this point. Don't get me wrong. But like, visually, the show has been, there's been nothing wrong about it, but it also hasn't been anything stunning, because there hasn't been a lot of action. And the action that we've had has been fairly grounded in just, fights and alleys and stuff like that. So I literally had like is this the same show we've been watching this whole time? Because holy crap, this is where all their special effects budget for the entire season 1 went into this moment. Because it doesn't look like Pete and I have talked about this before, and it's something that, Rings of Power being the most expensive television show ever made. Like, say what you want about Rings of Power. It is beautiful to look at. It is a gorgeous show. And there's the difference between TV CGI and special effects and movie CGI and special effects, right? So an example being, movie special effects would be stuff like the MCU or the DCEU, with the exception of Steppenwolf from the theatrical Justice League. I don't know what the hell that was.
Bad example.
Yeah. And then TV special effects would be showing the same sort of fights and action, but on like a CW Arrowverse show, right? You could just tell, like they've had less time to spend on it, less money to throw at it, but the people watching are typically accepting of it because, well, you understand you're watching a TV show. You're not watching a movie. You're not, blah, blah, blah. I would say so far, and there hasn't been much to go on, like to base this on up until this sequence, and this sequence just sort of confirms it. Andor is dealing with movie level visuals and special effects.
Yeah, well, they've used a lot more practical effects up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to be a total moron. Like, even if you didn't have movie level special effects, you got to be some kind of stupid to screw up something like, blaster effects, right? Like that's not a demanding special effect. But the TIE fighter flybys and then the eye, oh my goodness. Like they spent some time getting this right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was cool. And then so Skeen's in trouble. And they have to make a decision to either cut and run and let Skeen die on the ship, or they did have a contingency doctor in place on a moon somewhere not far away. They could land there and try and get him patched up. And Andor makes the decision to save Skeen, which is a little out of character. Yeah. So it shows some character growth in Andor. It's
also the unpopular decision.
Yeah, he's caring for this. He cares about this kid.
Yeah,
and by extension, will come to care about his cause because he's got his book now.
Yeah.
And also there's the shared hate of the Empire and.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, the doctor. Let's talk about the doctor.
Now the doctor. So we see the doctor on the planet. What's your issue with the doctor?
Oh, it's not not an issue. I just want to know.
I think this is cool.
I just want to. Do you think that Maz Kanata knows that her ugly uncle is working as a doctor out there somewhere, patching people up? Does this not look like Maz Kanata's ugly uncle Larry, who's like? Yeah.
Maz is so short, though. I took this for a different alien completely.
No, absolutely. I don't think it's the same species at all.
It could be.
It's so simple. Like the eyes and the like. It's just
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch.
I looked at it, and the first thing I thought was like, okay, so we've learned two things. Maz Kanata has family out there somewhere, and part of her family history, some of the darker part of her family history, apparently is inbreeding, because this guy is ugly as sin.
Yeah. So Nemec doesn't make it. The doctor, as skilled as he is with 4 hands,
and I say, listen, I say thank God, not only because he annoyed the hell out of me, but because someone had to die.
Yeah,
someone had to die.
Well, they all pretty much died, though. Only 3 out of what were there? There were. Let me jump back.
Well, no, and I'm glad. I'm glad that we're like. Because I think
6 rebels, 3 survive.
I think the showrunners realized, okay, we need to do something to manufacture some stakes and to make it feel heavier than it actually is.
And I wouldn't say it was manufactured. That's just good writing. So,
it's a fictional
if this whole
show,
episode happened and Nemec was the only one to die, like if as he's running on the ship, he's the last one on board, he gets shot in the back, and again, he's barely awake enough to give the coordinates so they can escape. If he was the only one to die, okay, you've got some stakes. But by having so many of the two guys go down and Nemec get crushed and die en route out, that I think that's just better writing that you're creating.
Oh yeah,
you say manufacturing, but
that's
just good writing.
It's a fictional show. The whole thing is manufactured.
Yeah, you have to write it. Writing is manufactured.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And you can manufacture it and make it feel forced.
Yeah.
But this episode didn't feel forced.
No.
Right?
No.
So
the last episode did. Good Lord.
Everybody who died, like the way they kind of died, didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
Grom died because he's standing out in the open trying to convince the officers to walk away. Yeah. And then all crap blows. He's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The other guy dies because Skeens doesn't actually give him cover fire.
Yeah.
And Nemec dies because, well, that one's a little forced. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, but he needed to go.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's to kind of give Andor a reason to fight for a cause.
Yeah. So then we get to
more than anything.
We get to Luthen's antiquity shop again.
Well, hang on. I touched on this, but there's the reveal that Skeen is a schemy bastard, and he lied to everybody. He doesn't even have a brother, which falls back to him actually not cover firing because he just wanted to take the loot and run. He tries to offer half of it to Andor.
Yeah. And
this is my favorite, pun intended, shot of the episode. Andor just like
shoots him
like stone cold, quick
doesn't
draw,
even say anything.
Han Solo style, just like
doesn't bother
bam.
monologuing.
I'm not even going to answer you. Just bam.
Yeah, doesn't monologue, doesn't whatever. Just
kills him.
Just kills him.
And he doesn't do it to take everything. He just wants his cut.
You know what though? Yeah, and I didn't blame him though. Like
no, he's essentially he's protecting these other people from this evil dude.
Everybody, for two reasons. One, I mean, even Andor's lying about who he is, right? So it's not like there's no
he
points.
Came clean.
Yeah, but there's no points detracted from like hiding who you are or not being who you say you are on this team. And then, as what's her face said, everybody has their own rebellion, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, yes, there's something a little douchebaggy about it. And like, maybe these funds, but I mean, like, how many of these people are actually planning on taking these funds and cutting loose, or taking these funds? Like, if you were to poll everyone and be like, okay, show of hands, who's willing to take all of the loot that we just made off of this and just pour it back into the rebellion? Most people are going to cut and run.
I don't think, so I think you're taking that everyone's got their own rebellion line out of context. I feel she said that in the context of, of everyone's got their own reason to hate and fight the Empire.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's why she said it.
Skeen had a reason to hate the Empire. He really was, in a child camp and orphanage or whatever and tossed around by the Empire and done wrong. But he's got no intention to fight the Empire.
No.
Andor's got more drive to fight the Empire than he does.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like no. I'm what I'm saying is that her line about everybody has their own rebellion sort of extends to everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own struggles. Everyone's got their own debts. Everyone's got their own responsibilities. Everybody's got their own, like, you know, it's all of the people on the rebellion. Like, it's easy when you're watching Star Wars, and you're thinking about the rebels and the Imperials, to think of them as just that, as one force against another force, good versus evil. You know, the Nazis versus the Americans and the British and stuff.
Right, but what you're alluding to is that
they're all
people
humans.
on this team have got selfish motivations.
They're people.
The money.
They're people just like anybody else.
But and while that's true, I think aside from Skeen, like Nemec especially, even Andor here, just taking his own cut and running, like they're fighting for a larger cause. You know, like the French rebellion against the Germans, if they pulled off a big heist against the Germans, they're not going to pad their own pockets. What good is that?
No,
they're still under oppression.
Yes, they're all fighting for a bigger cause. But what I'm saying is being human and having human flaws, well, not necessarily, you know, it's Star Wars, so not all the rebels and whatever are going to be human. But what I'm saying is even if you are fighting for a bigger cause, regardless of how big that cause is, if you also have some debts or you have a bounty on you, or you have a struggling family, regardless of that cause that you're fighting for, you are going to feel the same temptations. You're going to feel the same draws and the same pulls if all of a sudden 40 million credits kind of happen to just fall into your lap, and you have to make the decision between putting it back towards this bigger cause, or going, ooh.
All right, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And now for me, it just adds more gravitas to that Skeen's Andor scene where Andor shoots him. Because like we saw in that one scene from last episode where they're talking about like, oh, you know, like you grew up here, you know what these tattoos are, you've been there too. Like they've grown up in the same manner, kind of the same way. And like Skeen says, we're the same, you and I. Like, yeah, let's just take the money and run.
I agree.
And I think this is a really like, oh man, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it just adds so much weight because like, yeah, Andor and him are very similar. But I think, Andor making the decision he does, just like, there's a different moral compass.
Oh, for sure. No, absolutely.
And there's lines that some people won't cross.
Yep. And that's exactly what I'm saying too, right? Everyone's going to have the same, like Andor could do just as much with that money and probably has some of the same temptations that Skeens would have. But it all just comes down to some people are more dedicated to the cause. Okay, we got to wrap this thing up. So let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then we see an empty Senate, Mon Mothma. That was kind of an interesting scene because the Senate was empty.
Yeah. Do you think in that, like, I don't fully understand how the governmental structure here would work moving forward, but in that center, I don't know, podium, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Do I think Palps was there?
Yeah. Do you think so?
No. I think there might have been like a speaker of the House, but not necessarily the leader of the government. Needs to be there for every session.
Right. And this didn't seem like a particularly important topic.
Well, I think the Senate
goes.
was empty, not because people didn't care about what was on the docket for the day, but because Palpatine is breaking down democracy in the Empire.
Right. Yeah. He's resolving the Senate. Yeah. Right. He doesn't want to. Yeah. No, for sure.
And then we end with Luthen in his antiquities shop again. And,
doing a little happy dance.
Yeah. I I feel like he does. It's kind of same way last episode. There's kind of that they tried to build tension. I didn't feel the same tension that he felt that they were trying to, I think, convey with having that being the last shot.
Yeah.
But I was definitely riding the wave that Andor or that Luthen did at the end of this episode.
Yeah. Well, and you're meant to, for sure. For sure. So win or fail for you, sir. Episode, what is this? 6?
6. Yep.
6 of Andor.
This is a huge win for me. Best episode yet. Probably best Star Wars TV show episode yet. Yeah, they stayed on planet and had that kind of one drawn out plot line that they followed through the whole episode, unlike last episode, which was, I think, awesome. The storytelling and how they built the tension using the eye and the heist and the celebration all in unison was awesome and just made me jump to the edge of my seat and really buy in. And I thought the stakes felt high. When people died, it felt like those stakes were real. And yeah, the only downside for me was like, why are there no forklifts? not even a pump truck. What's going on?
Now, obviously, when you say that this is the greatest episode of a Star Wars show ever, you're not including the 1980s droids show, because that obviously is the pinnacle of Star Wars television. But
yeah,
you know,
well, Ewoks is pretty good
Ewoks,
too.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I'd have to go back and watch those to consult, but
Yeah,
as of now,
yeah. Happy Life Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yourself?
I feel like I'm right on the. I feel like I'm balanced on this point, teetering to either side. But ultimately, no, I think it was a win. Like it was like I said, for me personally, this episode punched a hole in the premise of the overall series for me. But aside from that, like I said, from a story standpoint, from a intensity standpoint, from a visual standpoint, from an acting standpoint, I mean, the episode is on point, right? Like it's fantastic. So yeah, for me, it's also a win. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Cool. Thank you for listening. Make sure you check out our social links down below, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out our merch page. Our Patreon page is a fantastic way to support the show, as well as getting some extra goodies for yourself, i.e. bonus voting power and some additional content that is exclusive to our Patreon supporters. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Cool.
I think.
Yeah.
You know.
That sounds like you got it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Right. So anyways.
Until next time.
Like I said, happy Life Day.